Ahoy, ahoy, Tolarian Community College. May I take your order, please?
Yeah, hi, Brian. I'm calling up to see if we're going to do our monthly episode of Dies to Removal. We're meant to be recording today?
Oh, absolutely, but we can't record tonight because I'm on my way to my local game store for Friday Night Magic.
Say that again, Brian. It sounds like you got a mouthful of marbles. Or maybe it's my connection because of Brexit.
Sorry, I had my mask on.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Brexit did us over. Bloody Tories.
No one said anything about Brexit. I said I had my mask on because I was about to go down to my local game store, play some Friday Night Magic.
Oh, that's really good. I'm really glad to hear that you and the local game store are still, practicing safety precautions.
You're darn right I practice safety. My local game store does modern for F&M, and every other player has got 5-color Omnath. No way I want to catch that in pairings.
I thought Yorion was predominantly 4-color.
It mutated. Now it's 5-color.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea it was that bad in the States. That said, here in Britain, Murktide is spreading amongst the Magic scene.
Are people taking the proper precautions against Ragavan over there?
No, but they should be. Ragavan's still a threat. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. It's got Dash. No one is wearing their mask. No one is exercising safety, but I will, Brian. I will. Are you still there?
Vince, you don't need your mask on if you're just staying home alone.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All right, well, I gotta head out. What are you up to tonight, by the way?
I'm watching the Wizards Presents live stream thing on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna announce a lot of Universes Beyond Commander sets and that Lord of the Rings modern set. Universes Beyond stuff.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I don't want to catch that. Ugh.
Oh, me either. Do you think Gandalf's gonna be strong and modern? Hello and welcome to Dies to Removal, the Magic the Gathering podcast, where I'm joined as always with my co-host, Pleasant Kenobi. Oh my gosh, Vince, you have 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel?
I do. I hit the milestone and it's surreal and it's weird. And if you haven't already subbed, because apparently probably a lot of you guys haven't.
Plugging it.
You probably should.
You're plugging it. I was
at Command Fest Orlando. Several people said to me they love Dice to Removal. Like, have you clicked to my channel? Like, no. I'm like, why not? Why haven't you done this? So do you want a numerical list of why not? No. Seriously, all joking aside, go check out Vince's channel. Awesome stuff. If you love Dies to Removal, it's like Dies to Removal, but without me interrupting Vince every few minutes, right, Vince? Yeah, it's 50% as good.
On today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is Magic the Gathering events. Is it safe to return to complaining about them? Vince, you were just at a Magic the Gathering event. I haven't been at one. I don't think I've been at one this entire year. I was at Vegas last year, and I haven't been to one since. Gosh, I apologize if I have been to one since and I forgot it, but I'm curious to hear about what your event was. What was the safety precautions there? And I mean, obviously you felt they were something you were comfortable with. I'm curious to hear about that.
We were at Vegas together this year, weren't we? Wasn't that like in February or something? That wasn't last year,
No, Vegas was November. I think it was last year. It was in November. It was right before Thanksgiving.
I actually can't remember. But yes, I've just been to Orlando. Oh, it was before Thanksgiving. Yeah, I've been to Orlando and I've been to Birmingham, 2 back-to-back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you must feel very safe health-wise because you're getting on an international flight.
Yes.
And you're going to not one, but 2 Magic events.
Yes.
Sounds like people are feeling safe about events.
We're definitely going to stir up a little bit of a hornet's nest here because there were people who just don't agree with what we're going to say on both sides of the aisle here.
Yeah, okay. But what were the safety precautions? Let's start with just define them and then tell me your thoughts on them. And then we're going to... And by the way, I just want to say to everyone worried at home about this topic, don't worry. We're going to be complaining about Magic the Gathering real soon.
Yes.
Just give us a minute. Vince, what were the safety precautions?
So Birmingham had next to none because the UK has completely abandoned any idea that there is a disease out there. So yes. So the majority weren't masking. I was masking in crowded and enclosed spaces like I always do. Orlando was the same, but there was much more adherence to actually wearing masks, which is interesting. I think it's a cultural difference between the British Magic player and an American Magic player. Like American Magic players, there's more of them masking than there was in Britain, 100%. But both of them had minimal precautions.
But Birmingham is also in the United States.
It is, but I was in the original Birmingham. I was in Birmingham 1.
In Alabama?
Birmingham is in Alabama.
I'm not that stupid. Hang
on. Birmingham is in Alabama. Birmingham is in the UK.
Right.
That's the difference.
Birmingham in Alabama is Birmingham 1 because USA number 1.
No, that's not how... I know you don't watch films and you struggle with modern technology, but that is not how sequels work. Have you seen Avengers 2? It came after Avengers 1, Brian, and I know you've seen that movie. Anyway...
My first Marvel movie was Thor 3. That was my very first Marvel movie.
I feel sorry for you.
Go on.
I feel sorry for you. Because it's all downhill from there. It's the best one.
I thought you were just in general.
I do feel sorry for you in general, but on this topic I also do. There was minimal safety precautions, if we're honest. If we're completely frank about it. But Americans had more of an attitude of running.
You still went to it despite the minimal safety precautions?
Absolutely. I recently had COVID. So I went on holiday. If we go into this.
I guess someone found out.
Yeah. So before Birmingham, I went on holiday to Cyprus, which is a country where you have to wear masks in all public spaces, including the hotel. If you're in the lobby, I wore masks the entire time, came home with COVID. I was masked on the flights as well, still came home with COVID. I guess, I'm not saying masks don't work, I believe masks work, but I felt I was in a position where I'd already had it, I'm double vaxxed, I'll take the risk of perhaps having it again, but I didn't get it again. If I got it on one of those GPs, Brian, I would have considered, can I realistically do this going forward? Because you and I go to more Magic events than the average person, I guess, right?
I haven't been to a Magic event in close to a year.
Well, there you go. So you don't feel safe going to them. Is that?
Well, okay. Question: did Birmingham require proof of vaccination?
No.
Ideally, I feel it should be proof of vaccination unless you show that you have extenuating circumstances, like there's many people with health conditions and such that cannot get the vaccine. That's obviously valid, but for the general public and attending, I would wish it was just proof of vaccination, but they do the proof of vaccination or COVID negative test plus mask requirement. You got to have your mask on unless you're sitting eating your hot dog or whatever.
So you couldn't have either of those things in Birmingham, England or in Florida, as far as I understand it. Like they're not able to put on a mask restriction, I believe, or there's legal elements of like what they can and can't tell people to do. I shouldn't really get into that because I don't know the ins and outs of it, but neither of them had any of those things, as far as I can remember.
I felt safe at the Magic Las Vegas last year and the Flesh and Blood, which was just literally 2 weeks before, put on by the same company. And I felt safe because they were very strict and it was a low attendance number. And I felt like, okay, it's been 2 years. I'm going out of my mind. Everybody is going to behave. And everybody did. Everybody was masked. Everybody had to show proof of vax. I felt safe, and I'm actually feeling a little jumpy about some of these events like you're describing where maybe people are just masks are optional.
No, like hardly anyone was wearing one at Birmingham, and all I know is better. I'm at Pro Tour Lille for Flesh and Blood next weekend. I don't even know what the requirements are.
I guess my invite to the Flesh and Blood thing got lost in the mail. I'm glad to see Flesh and Blood supports some creators. No, I'm just kidding. But
they would have invited you if it was more local to you. Do you want to come to Lille? I'm sure they'd fly you out to Lille if you asked. Ask them.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot.
But I have no idea what the requirements are. Like, I'll be taking a mask with me and stuff. I do on the vaccine requirement thing. Like, if we get into this a little bit, I much prefer if they're going to do that, if they're able to do that, because I would rather make the situation safer for those who are at risk than allowing people. I'm just going to say it. People who believe vaccines are evil or whatever from not coming. Like, I much steer towards helping the former than the latter. But yeah. Yeah. Not that everyone who isn't vaccinated obviously doesn't believe in vaccines. There are exceptions and stuff. But yes. So I prefer if it was that way. But if we're honest and realistic about it, that's just not. Like the UK, for example, if people don't know, the UK has thrown all caution to the wind and does not care. Like every event you go to is just, there's no vaccine requirements, there's no mask requirements. We're just back to like how we were before. But we also have quite high numbers when you look at it. It's kind of wild. It's kind of crazy. I really don't know what to make of it because you just wander around and no one is wearing masks anymore. It's it's how the UK is now. And for the foreseeable future, yeah, it's wild.
Well, before we get into, I want to ask you, my next question is what, as a Magic player, the events were like and such. But I just want to end on the vaccine talk with anybody watching this that does not feel safe attending an event for health reasons, especially immunocompromised individuals, which there are very many that don't get acknowledged, especially in the media. It's like, it's not a non-zero number. It affects a lot of people where imagine there's myriad reasons you cannot, for your own health, get the vaccine. It stinks to have to feel pressured, like, oh, a lot of friends, maybe creators attending. Please never attend an event if you don't feel safe about its safety requirements. And please always, I say, because I also say, ask if the company you're buying from has a union, but thank you, Spice 8 Rack, for indoctrinating me in that. But I also say, like we saw with TwitchCon, if they're doing stupid safety requirements, make a stinking fuss about it. That's the Tolarian Community College way, is make a stinking fuss about it. And we might actually get some things changed. We saw it worked with TwitchCon. And so, yeah, absolutely. As far as complaining about Magic the Gathering events go, the joke, we're back at Magic the Gathering events. What were the events like? What was it like for you?
It's very hard for myself and for you, even though you haven't been to one in a year, to really give an example of it that reflects for everyone, because it's a very different situation, right? Like, you get to wander around and I'm sponsored by cool stuff and things, and they give you entry, and then people want to play. It's a very different thing, but the events were amazing. I loved both of them. I saw tons of people, viewers, fans, subs, people I haven't seen in the Magic community for a long time, who I used to see at GPTs and PTQs and PPTQs and whatever, all just
no one knows up what any of those letters mean.
I know. What the regionals used to be. There you go, Kaida, maybe you might understand that. But the point is, seeing so many people that I hadn't seen for years, some of them, because they've come back, events are back, they want to play Modern or Legacy, but they can't because those want on these events, so they've rocked up anyway to go to vendors, see old friends, play some Commander and stuff. So it was wonderful. I loved them. I do think there was an absence of other versions of Magic, but we'll come to that more later. That's the one thing that I thought was the biggest exclude and the obvious thing that was missing. But they were great. But also, I'm going to say that because, like I said, our perception of them, Brian, is skewed because we're very, very lucky with how we get to attend these things.
That's true. And I mean, obviously, I will acknowledge that last year for attending the Magic the Gathering Las Vegas, my flight was covered, my hotel was covered. I do get an appearance fee because I'm giving up, days of work and such. And so obviously that's very different. And one thing I do want to talk about in a minute is the cost of attending, for example, Magic 30, which there's a lot of costs associated with it. But for me at that last event, which I know was going on a year ago now, it was a beautiful feeling to get to see friends again, to get to see other creators again, to just get to sit down. I did a Pauper event where I took my own tropical island from my own folder, literally one of my folders right there where I've got my revised dual lands, my incomplete set of revised dual lands, and I made it even more incomplete by taking my tropical island, and I said, all right, there's a Pauper event on Sunday. First place gets a tropical island from the Professor's Collection, and people were literally saying, wow, I'm just going to put a $20 Pauper deck together because $20 for a chance at a tropical island is not bad gamble. And people were having so much fun. They were playing Pauper for the first time with a rogue deck they built, and people were showing me their decks. Oh, it was so much fun. I really want to go to another event this year. And assuming that I feel the safety requirements are there, I think I'm going to try and make it to at least one. I have been invited to one, not Magic 30, but we'll talk about that as well. Can I ask you this question, though? Magic Fests have returned. Command Fests have returned. Why the hell do we have these two different fests and not just one fest
I think it's
for
absurd.
All of us?
I think it's absurd and it's dumb. I actually really dislike it.
If I go to a Magic Fest, I can play in a draft, I can play Standard, I can play Modern, I can play Legacy, I can play Pioneer, I can play Pauper, I can play Commander, and there's a command zone that you pay entry to. I've got comments on that in a minute. But at a Command Fest, there's just Commander in a command zone that you pay entry to. It seems to me, and I went to one of the Command Fests before the pandemic, and I went to one of the Magic Fests before the pandemic, and it seems to me that you can do everything you can do at a Command Fest at a Magic Fest. So why not just have a Magic Fest?
There's yeah. So I agree with you completely, but the key, there is a key difference. So the Command Fests tend to be ticketed at door. So with a Command Fest, the new model is you pay for a ticket, a badge, a lanyard, whatever it is, to be able to walk in, and then you can play Commander at any table in the room, or you can use your tickets to enter the prize ticket ones, right? In Magic Fest, they're not ticketed at the door. Anyone can walk into the convention center, walk around, see vendors and stuff like that. And it's only when they want to play Commander that they have to go into the command zone. Otherwise, the tables that are free are only temporarily free, right? There is very little free play space at Magic Fest.
That's better. Because what if I want to play Commander? What if I want to play Commander and I can't afford the command zone? Then I take the risk of I might get moved from my free play area.
It's not
but
a
I can
risk.
Still attend.
It happens every damn time.
So what? By doing a Command Fest only where everyone has to pay at the door, a lot of people are excluded. So but you still have the Command Fest. There's still the Command Fest.
It's better for you and I and the players. It's worse for the idea of making sure that everything is completely monetizable, right? Like with the Command Fest model that we have at the moment, that both my sponsor and other companies are doing. I'm not saying it's good, but it means that everybody walking through that door is a paying customer. Then the other issue you get from this, though, which is something I do want to definitely bring up now, is that you then have a limited ticket number. And for Birmingham, that was fine because the space was real tight. For Orlando, we were in a convention center that was using a small portion of its size. We're in a hotel with multiple ballrooms, a convention center next door, and people being turned away at the door. I knew a group of people, 5 people got in a car, and one of them had a ticket, and they drove 8 hours from like Michigan to Orlando. 4 of them didn't have tickets, thought they could buy out the door, and couldn't. So 4 of them had to play Magic in their Airbnb, while the 5th one could go in. And that is just not good. It's just not good for anyone. So yeah, it's good for the company. You can monetize every single piece of footfall into that room. But it's worse compared to Magic Fest, where in the past, I had people come to Magic events with me, GPs as they used to be called, and they weren't necessarily going to play anything. They didn't know if they wanted to. They'd just wander around with me because they play a bit of Magic. And then they'd see an event and they'd get in the mood and be like, I'm going to pay into a draft. I'm going to pay into this event. I'm going to start playing this. Can I borrow a deck? People who are scared to get involved initially are more likely to walk in if there's no cost. However, Commander is a more approachable thing for the casual as well. We'll talk more about that in a second.
I want to do an episode about gatekeeping in Commander because Commander and Approachable gets less and less so every day, but that's another video topic.
Dare pro players write about Commander? Am I right?
Whoa, baby. Whoa, baby. Don't be getting into another dice removal.
I'll save that for another episode.
Don't be getting into another dice removal.
But Commander is more approachable, right? So Command Fest and the idea of going to play Commander is luring in the new crowd, the casual crowd, a more open crowd.
Magic Fest featuring the Command Zone and GPX with side events. That's how you do it. I do think branding it front-facing, and some people are going to hate this in the comments, especially when they know I'm like a legacy and modern lover, but I think branding it Command Fest at the front, and within the Command Fest there is the Magic Fest or the GP or whatever you want to call the Arctic, whatever the other names are. Command Fest is like an approachable, better branding, because people associate Commander with, I'm going to casually go along and play games and there's no stakes and no one gets upset, in theory. There's a lot of salt as well, right? But in theory, no one gets upset. I think Command Fest is a better branding because both the Command Fest I went to, I saw more women than ever. I saw more young kids than ever. It's such a much more diverse group of people. I met people who didn't know what roll for play or draw meant in a 1v1 environment when I played a sealed draft. They're like, I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Like, who goes first? And I'm like, oh, right, yeah. I've done that in Commander. Vince, I explained that to you. I was just really tired that morning. It took me a minute. Goodness sakes.
You've never been to Birmingham. But yeah, it's more inviting. Command Fest, for some reason, at least the 2 I've been to, anecdotes I know, it seems to open up the doors a bit more to people who are more likely to come because they aren't scared of the salty, try-hard, sweaty, competitive players.
Yeah, they're getting into Commander. That's another topic. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Magic 30. So you're saying Magic 30, I can just show up and walk right in, just like a Magic Fest, right? Because it's Magic 30 is all kinds of magic, and it's a celebration of 30 years of Magic the Gathering, a celebration, a party for this community. So the whole community is welcome to come to Vegas and walk right in and see what events they want to play in, or just get some casual games. No,
it's the Command Fest model, but with a different name.
How? Will $20 get me in the door at Magic 30?
No.
$20 won't get me in the door.
If people in the comments, by the way, don't know, please pause the video and write what you think the lowest package ticket is.
I did not look at, I vaguely remember, and I also only have $20 in my wallet, so I can't continue this bit. Pause the video, write a comment. How much do you think the lowest to get into Magic 30, the 30-year anniversary celebration of Magic the Gathering, is? The answer is Vince, or possibly Vince. I don't know what side of the screen you're going to be on.
Well, this is the thing I was looking earlier, and the Emerald package is the only one I could find at the low end at $60.
$60.
But so you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm confused because Emerald doesn't sound like entry. Emerald sounds like it's somewhere in the mid tier. Why is it called am I wrong? Is there a cheaper ticket?
Why is there not a commoner? It should be common, uncommon, rare, mythic. And the common ticket is $60. That's a commander deck nowadays.
You do get two
not one of
boosters
the
though. They're softening the blow by adding 2 boosters to that, aren't they?
Of what set?
So according to the website that I'm looking at right now, it's
Baldur's Gate.
No, 1 mystery booster, and I think it's convention edition, so it's actually a decent one.
Oh, that's actually decent.
And 1 Dominaria United collector booster. So the booster product does lighten the load. Although what you've got to remember, this is a really interesting thing that people don't realize, is that this product costs absolutely nothing to Wizards of the Coast, who then give it to Pastimes, whoever it is that's running this thing. That's why when they comp judges at events, companies give them product that's been given to them by Wizards for almost nothing, if not nothing. And that way people can sell it and make money, but also it means that the company in the middle isn't paying the staff properly. Okay, we won't go super into that because this is not about judge compensation, but that's how that works. That product costs them nothing to make. But $60 for a collector booster and a mystery vintage booster, and then your lanyard. The problem is, Brian, as the layman looking at this earlier today, I don't know what the lanyard does. Do you just get to walk in and play free to play and that's it? Can I enter the command zone?
No, command zone's extra, I think. Command zone's extra.
Oh,
so
you're
on top
right.
of the 60, you have to pay to play commander. So if you want to play commander, you have to pay to get in the door, which you used to not have to do, and then you have to pay to play commander, which you used to not have to do. Why am I the only one pissed off about this? That's my question. Why am I going to have to hear this BS of, oh boy, another episode of Angry Old Man Yells at Cloud?
I found a cheaper ticket. I found a cheaper one.
Oh, all right. How much is it?
It's the Jet package. It's $30. Okay, I'm gonna read off the list so you can tell me whether or not you're buying this ticket, okay? 1 MTG Arena event entry token. So there's some associated arena event, okay? 1 Magic Online event entry token. Again, apparently it's a Modo event. I didn't know this till right this moment. A virtual Q&A with Richard Garfield. A virtual Q&A with Mark Rosewater. Do you see where this is going? MTG Arena avatar and access to the Magic 30 merchandise.
This gets me on the floor, though.
No. There is no access to the floor. The Jet package is the virtual ticket. So for $30, Brian, you can not go.
I can for $30 I can not go. Who do these people think they are? This is what the video should be called. Wizards of the Coast. Who the hell do they think they are these days?
But the thing is, there's a FOMO element though, because I genuinely before I hadn't really looked at the website until today, but I knew there's a virtual ticket and I knew it gave you access to the merchandise, and I know in the merchandise there's a unique secret lair. And I kind of want the unique secret lair because it's the 30th anniversary thing, right? So part of me a couple of days ago was like, do I buy a virtual ticket that I don't give a about just so I get access to this secret lair? And then you just spiral into FOMO territory. I had to slap myself. I was like, no. Don't buy into that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I almost did because I want the limited stuff. Because this is the celebration of the greatest game in the world. This is a celebration of the game that transformed your life, transformed my life. It's the 30-year anniversary, Brian. And
it's $60 to get in the door.
Yes, and you're the biggest YouTuber for this game in the world, and you're not going to be there because they didn't invite you.
Well, they might still invite people, but after this video, I don't think I'm getting the invite. So. No, I'm kidding. They weren't going to invite me anyway.
But the reason I bring that up is because Magic 30 does feel really weird to me. It's this massive celebration with limited ticket numbers, quite expensive tickets. And this should have been in my opinion, a loss leading exercise, right? This should have been this should be part of the marketing budget. It should be a massive event. They invite as many people as possible. They can charge floor tickets, maybe not this price. And it should have been a loss leader. But instead, it seems to be an event that is looking to make money off the event itself. It's just a GP by any other name, right? With a couple of fancy things attached to it. And it's just weird to me. But
I remember GP Vegas, attending GP Vegas. It's free to get in the door. People are playing Commander everywhere. I'm sorry, yes, they were often asked to move, in which case they did, but they were still playing Commander everywhere. There were all kinds of events. You paid for each individual event. Side events were $5 to go play a side event. At the first one I went to, if you played in the side event, you got a foil promo Planeswalker just for playing. That was fun. And to have come to this, I gotta admit, all joking aside, like, my rage and stuff, I do feel it's disappointing that they're charging both to get. If they just said, look, we have issues with capacity, so we are going to have a limited number of people that can be in at a time, and we're going to sell an entry pass so we can, in part, and this is fair, monitor that everybody has had their vax check, this and that. And yeah, the event costs a lot to put on, and they're like, look, it's going to be $30 to get in the door, maybe. And then you're in the door and you can play Commander and you can buy side event tickets and stuff. Fine. But the monetization of it to such an extreme, I don't think necessarily they should lose money. I think the goal should be to break even.
For the TO, yes. For Wizards, I think they should be. That's my point. It's Wizard that should be firing marketing budget up the wall to make the celebration of 30 years the biggest it can be.
And that's exactly what this is a marketing thing. This is marketing. You're spending money because you're getting people into the game, addicted to the game, staying in the game. You're keeping this going. It's like throwing wood on the fire, and you pay for that wood, but then you get the benefit of the warmth of the fire. And in this analogy, the warmth of the fire is more record profits ever. But
yeah,
why should they bother when they're going to sell out? They opened up the what was it, the Lotus package, and it sold out in 5 minutes. So what do they care? They sold out of the biggest, most expensive package, and everyone's going to do it. And I'll tell you something else. There's a slim chance. It is slim. I don't know that I'm going to do it, but there is a slim chance that you're right, because it is Magic's big celebration, that I might get on a plane and rent a hotel and show up to it. I don't want to market it, though, if I do, but I might do that. And so why should they invite me and have to pay my appearance fee, or even just pay for my plane ticket? And what if they said to me, oh, well, we'll fly you out, but we're not going to give an appearance fee? And why should they even pay for my plane ticket or your plane ticket when you're going to go anyway? And that's the thing that I'm so shocked to, I keep hearing amongst creator friends, and pro friends, that it's coming. They're going to invite all these wonderful people who have helped build this community, who in many ways have advertised the game. Say what you want about my negativity in videos. I've brought a lot of people into this game and kept a lot of people in this game. And I've made this, I really do believe I've worked, I don't want to get into it. I've got some bad feelings about some things that have been said to me recently, but I do feel I have a positive role to both this community and this game. And it's like, there's a lot of other people like me, and it's like, yeah, we're not inviting any of you. You'll just come. You're addicted. You'll just come. You'll advertise for us for free. You'll post your pictures for free. You'll do all of this for us, and you're going to keep buying the crack. And maybe I won't go. Maybe I'll go to Magic Summit instead. Gosh, Vince, what's Magic Summit?
Hang on. Let's not jump too far ahead, because there's one thing I did want to. So you're right. Like, you and I have not been invited to this. I generally thought I might get invited in my inbox. I didn't. I guess like you said, they might invite people really late. Very strange, because people have to plan ahead for this sort of stuff, especially if you're traveling transatlantic. Wizards, okay. I don't hate the event. There's a lot of cool things happening at it. It is that cost though. Like, if you want to be in the cool stuff, it's $350. It's $700. It's crazy. I do believe that the Magic 30 event itself, and there's meant to be more of them, right? I don't know if it's there's rumors of like a Charlottesville or Charlotte one. There's rumors of a European one. I hope those come to fruition and we see one like at London or whatever. Anyway, these should be things that get Magic onto like the front page of the Washington Post or Huffington Post or onto the New York Times and stuff, where it's like big conventions that happen that put these card games in the limelight, where cool things happen, like, if someone opens a Lotus in the beta draft, for example, that'll make some headlines, right? They should be going out of the way to make these sort of things that sort of spectacle, but that isn't even remotely what they want to do.
Imagine if someone pulls a Lotus in the beta draft and it's like, well, I don't know, the largest Magic the Gathering YouTuber here to put it up on his channel. and advertise this? No? Is anyone there?
So the Black Lotus in the beta draft is an example of how it will go very well for them, right? They haven't made it into the marketing exercise that they could have done. They've made it into an event that is trying to make money in and of itself, which I think is not how something like this should be treated. But then if a Lotus gets opened, that just goes viral anyway, right? There'll be TikToks and images from anyone and everyone, and that'll get New York Times there'll be like a news articles all over the internet about this card that's worth 20 grand being opened, right? That's it working out for them. If a Lotus isn't open in the beta draft, then it's the fact that they should have made this a bigger and fancier event by getting as many people as many artists as possible, every cosplayer they can, every celebrity that plays Magic. They should be being like, look, can we pay you an appearance fee? It should be coming out of Wizards' marketing budget, which is huge, by the way. I don't think this company makes $1 billion a year or whatever, right? But they aren't. This is just an event that is trying to make money as an event that Wizards is directly backing, and it's just a strange one. But if there is going to be loads of these over the next year, then it starts to make more sense.
So there is another event going on to celebrate 30 years of Magic the Gathering, only it's not in Las Vegas and it's not put on by Wizards of the Coast. It's the Magic Summit, and this is completely fan-run and operated. I believe it's the first time an event of this scale has ever been put on without a corporation backing it in some regard, like a Cool Stuff Inc., your sponsor, or Channel Fireball, your former sponsor, or like Star City Games, maybe your future sponsor, I don't know. And so, this is a really interesting thing. You're actually signed on to attend. They did extend an invitation to me. I have not, as of the filming of this video, determined if I'm able to attend because of many factors, some of which I can talk about, some not. But Vince, you're attending. What is Magic Summit?
Yeah. So it's a big event in Utah, in Salt Lake City, run by Kingdom Events. God, am I getting that right? It is Kingdom, yeah? Kingdom Events, yeah. And it's a huge old school. It's like an old GP, is how it looks to me, right? There is modern events, there's legacy events, there's limited events, there's a command zone style thing. There is a huge swath of professional Magic players that have been invited, content creators, artists, there's an artist row sort of thing. It is crazy the amount of faces they've managed to get to do the thing. And this is kind of what I wanted for Magic 30. It should be a celebration of Magic.
And that's why in some ways, a lot of people have said that the Magic Summit that's happening just 2 weeks after Vegas and Salt Lake City is a lot more like the real Magic celebration, especially since it is being put on by just people who love Magic the Gathering. It's Brandon Sanderson, the author, is a huge impetus behind this, and I believe that company is who runs his Dragon convention that he does, which will be happening after. A lot of people are going to double dip. They're going to go to the summit, stay for the Sanderson's Dragon convention afterwards. But it really is old school. You mentioned things like Legacy. They're big on Legacy having representation here. They're big on all the older formats having love, having that representation, and they're big on the community. With one note that I am going to say, in that a lot of the community has already been invited and promoted, and in many ways, it looks like what Magic 30 should be taking notes on. And do you know, can I just show up and walk in the door, or do I have to pay to get in the door?
As far as I understand it, you can walk in. But again, we should have done my research for this video. I believe you can, because all the events are ticketed as far as I understand it. So like there's a Pioneer event is $60, there's a Modern event is $60, the Legacy is $60, and they're 5K events, $5,000 worth or 50,000 prize tickets or whatever. They're 5Ks. It's a term that Americans use a lot, and we don't use that in England, so it always confuses me. But they're there for you to play Legacy, Modern, and Pioneer, which is what we are. I mean, we kind of preempted this, right? This is what an event should be like. Commander might be the most popular format in the game, but there are tons of other formats that are incredibly fun and cool and interesting that our cards can see play in. So why not celebrate all of Magic? And Magic 30 is doing that as well. We didn't really get into that, but...
Yeah, and so I was very excited. I did get a call from them, and they're not, as far as I know. I had a very interesting conversation, and I really felt in conversing with one of the organizers of this, a passion for the community. I really felt a passion for the game, a passion for wanting to do this right. In doing that, they are not, as far as I know, offering anybody an actual appearance fee for going. And I was told that there is no appearance fee that anyone's getting, but they are covering flights and lodging, which I think is a nice offer. And I like the idea of universality. So it's like, yeah, whatever LSV or the Professor or Pleasant Kenobi is getting, smaller creators are getting an equal thing, which I actually really support. I would be, as someone who gets an appearance fee, somebody very much in favor of like flat appearance fees for like, this is what you get, whether you're a podcaster or a YouTuber or you have 100. If we invite you, my belief is if we invite you, if we use your image to sell tickets to our thing, then you are basically doing advertising for us and you deserve compensation. Now they've said
there is a small sticking point with that with the summit though, which has started to rise up on Twitter a little bit the last couple of days, which is where some creators have been said, if you sell X amount of tickets, I think it's 10 for everyone, I think it's the same number, then your flights and accommodation reimbursed. Here's a code, share it with the community, get it clicked. And whilst that's probably achievable for most people, I don't like it either.
I don't like that.
For full transparency, that's what they approached me with. And I just said no. I said, you can pay for my flights and accommodation and I'll come. I would love to come and promote, but I'm not going to do a thing where I have to get people to my community to click my link and not someone else's link. So that becomes an issue as well, especially with small creators. They've got to fight each other for a click. I was like, no, I'll come. I will promote. I will get involved. I'm very excited, but I will not do this affiliation program and maybe end up with a bill at the end of it if I don't get there. So some people have had to do that and some people haven't. It doesn't sit great with me, but again, I don't know if they're fresh to this. You said they do this Dragon Con, so perhaps actually they should have known how to approach the situation already, if they do conventions already.
Yeah, and I disagree with that. And I don't want to be too harsh in the sense that it's a first-time event and it's people who are going to learn and stumble and have growing pains. But I will say officially that I feel really bad at the idea that any creator, big or small, is told you're going to get a plane ticket and a hotel room if you sell X tickets. And then other creators are told, yeah, we'll be happy to fly you out. No problem. You don't have to sell tickets. And it's a little weird to think that if I were to have a link and tell my viewership, hey, buy one of my tickets, then I'm taking tickets away from other people. How about?
Yeah, you're literally reducing someone else's chance of getting reimbursed, which is wild.
I'm not a fan of that. And maybe they do seem very attentive and maybe they'll revise some of that. Yeah. And, but
I'm really hoping you're there because I get to see it because we don't see each other in the flesh that often, right?
Yeah. I do hope I can make it out. I might not be able to. There is another event that I'm not allowed to talk about this year that I have been confirmed for that I will be at celebrating 30 years of Magic. It is as yet unknown, but I'm incredibly excited about this one. They are doing, in my opinion, everything right on all fronts that we've discussed so far.
Are you allowed to say this is officially Wizards or not Wizards?
I honestly, it's not officially Wizards. I don't know.
No, but it's the way you said the 30 years of Magic. I was like, oh, this is a different Magic 30 we're not aware of.
You don't need Wizards of the Coast to celebrate 30 years of Magic, and that's what I like about Magic Summit. And that's my message to everybody watching this is that it doesn't. What makes the Las Vegas event more official than the Salt Lake City event or the Professor's Mystery event later in the year? Or like you said, if Cool Stuff Inc. does their own event in December or even January, February, or another company does something like that.
Big shout out to Axion Now. Yeah, Axion Now in the UK, it's not Magic 30, but they're holding super events, 2 big events this year, because they hold great events. They did the Birmingham one, they're one of the best TOs in England. If you're in the UK, look at Axion Now's website and look for their next events.
We'll try and put links. We'll try and put links to that in the description as well. But my thing on this is just don't feel compelled that Vegas, I'm really not getting invited now. Don't feel that compelled to go to Vegas, that it's the only time that you can see your friends or see creators. In fact, you might not see creators there. Feel like you're going to the one where first and foremost, you like their safety precautions. Second of all, you can afford it and you're not putting yourself in any financial distress. And then third of all, the one where you're going to get the most from your time there, whether what you're looking at is playing Legacy, playing Commander, paying to play Commander in a comfortable, safe zone that you have guaranteed table space and water and stuff like that, which that's great, or being able to just jam some games at free tables and shift things around while people come over to draft. You make that determination, you make that control, and don't let feelings of missing out compel you to do something that ultimately there's better choices for, because there are other conventions And this is a game that is about the gathering. We are the gathering. You are the gathering. And that's my final thought on it. And stand up and complain about crap if you think it's wrong.
The other thing I was going to add on to all of that is that from a personal perspective and a creator perspective, like I want to go to the event where my friends are, whether that be that they can get tickets and go, there's a space issue, or whether it's my friends within the community who are creators as well. So Birmingham GP, for example, a lot of people there, old Magic friends, great. They can get there, tickets are available, good city, cheap hotel. It's like an accessible event, right? The other thing is, like, if I got an invite to Magic 30 tomorrow, I would try my hardest to go because it's the Magic 30 thing, but I would generally be conflicted because I'm like, most of my friends aren't there. You're not going to be there. Most people I like to hang out with events aren't there. Like, it's a very... But when you look at Summit, I'm like, there's so many people that I get on with and enjoy, or people I haven't even met yet. Like, it just... Yeah, that's my personal point, is that I'm way more excited when I see all my friends are either able to go or getting invited if they're creators. Obviously, not all friends are creators, but yeah.
And maybe you don't even have to go to an event. Maybe Magic 30 is something you celebrate at your local game store. I'd love to hear, tweet at me. I'll retweet it about local game stores having their own 30-year celebration where they're doing a fun draft, where they're doing a fun flashback standard event, whatever. And it's the community of people you play with at your local game store. In many cases, maybe for the first time since pandemic, coming back together to celebrate safely this great game. Maybe you're going to host Magic 30 parties with your friends and have everybody chip in on an old booster box that you draft. You get to have Magic 30, whether or not Las Vegas is the Magic 30 for you. And I know I've been throwing some criticisms at Magic 30 Vegas. I don't mean to disparage that event. I do have a little bit of, I don't like the pay to get in aspect. That is kind of the way of Magic now. I don't like the other things we talked about, but I do like a lot about it.
We have to be fair there, because we're saying about pay to get in, but in all fairness, I love Birmingham, I loved Orlando, and they're both the same thing. So for complete transparency, we're saying that Magic 30 is a shame like this. It's mainly because it's the tentpole event that you want to be like the way things move forward, right? And neither of us, and probably people in the comment section below, don't like the idea that your mate can't come along for like half a day, walk in and play Commander with you at a free table, which is a much more inviting environment. So we are making that criticism, but we have to also acknowledge that that's the Command Fest model now, which kind of sucks a bit. But.
And I want to be really clear. Magic 30 looks awesome. It is possible to be critical of something that you love. I love Magic the Gathering and I'm critical of it. And I would love Magic 30 so much that I'm thinking of attending it, even if I'm not invited. And I might just. And maybe I will get invited. Probably not after this video, but even so, I do want to be clear. I don't want to dump water on someone who is excited for Magic 30 and say, oh, the Summit's better. I'm saying you get to determine what you love. You can be critical at the same time of things you love. And go have fun. I am glad Magic events are back. I want safety stuff to be followed. I want people to not have to pay dearly to go to them. I want people who are part of this community to be rightfully, welcomed by the company that they have served in terms of, promoting and getting excitement. And I want to see all my friends. I want to see all of you. I'm excited for 30 years of the gathering while we've been playing Magic, whether that's in Las Vegas or Salt Lake City or undisclosed location or Alabama, United Kingdom in the Alabama, like what Vince went to, all of that stuff. What do you think, Vince?
I think that the cost of the cities these things should be in should be more accessible in many ways. I mean, I say this, I absolutely love Vegas, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I wish there was other Magic 30 events already announced. I wish that they'd put a lot of this information out already so we can make informed decisions. This is the final point that I want to make, is that Magic 30 is a one-off thing at the moment, and we think there's more, but we don't know. Hell, Magic 30's details are really late, right? Compared to when you should get them to be able to make your ticket purchase. So then you're buying into the FOMO because you're like, well, I better get this ticket because I don't know if there's another one. We should know there's others coming up. I should know if there's one in London or France or Germany or whatever that I can go to more easily. So I can, if I'm off my own back, like what you're saying you might do, I can decide whether I go to this or not. If Vegas is the only one and I don't do it, I've missed out. And I hate that. And I wish there'd just be a bit more forward planning with this stuff. Besides that, the coolest event there's a legacy event for $125. Where you get 3-0, you get an Italian Legends booster. I wonder if that's freshly printed or whether they found it in a warehouse.
No. Don't start that discourse again.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Today, I have brought the one, the only, Michael Kritz. Your opponent, the Tellarian scribe herself, Jessie. Luris is unbanned in Modern, so is everything else. We're playing no ban list Modern today.
Playing Dark Depths combo.
Hell no, that's easier.
I'm gonna play another Urza Saga.
I will play Unholy Heat on your Elvish Mystic.
Oh!
10 counters on it. How could you possibly ever get a Merit Lage into play?
One counter at a time, probably.
Okay.
I am summoning
What?
the one, the only